Hello and welcome to our project. Our project is called Santa's Adaptive Christmas, and let's start by introducing ourselves. So, I'm the team leader. My name is Saqib Ahmed. I went over the project, coordinated tasks, and designed the layout, visuals, and user experience of the game. We also have Steven Acosta Pliego with us. He was our programmer and coder. He handled all core PHP logic, implemented game functionality, and ensured the code runs correctly. And then we also have Vincent Shoulders, tester and documentation guy. He tested the game for bugs, verified gameplay accuracy, and prepared written documentation for the presentation. So without further ado, I'll start with the initial bit of the presentation. So we implemented the Kanban methodology while we worked on polishing Santa's adaptive Christmas 15 puzzle. We used a simple Kanban method to keep track of what we were doing. We put tasks into 5 columns: backlog, to do, in progress, review, and done. As the status of each task changed, we moved it across the board. This made it easy for everyone to see what still needed to be done, what was being worked on right now, and what was ready to be tested. Before we marked an item as done, we made sure it worked correctly on different screen sizes and browsers and that there were no visual or logic problems. This process helped us work together as a team while we fixed bugs in the puzzle logic, improved CSS animations, made the site more responsive, checked that the database worked on code, and did final testing for a stable project that was ready to be submitted. Here is an example of how we use the Kanban board. So yeah, let's start with the project. So this is the project overview and what the project does. So Santa's Adaptive Christmas 15 puzzle is a sliding puzzle that you play in your browser. You move around scrambled image tiles to put together a full Christmas picture. The game lets you move between different board sizes, starting with a smaller one for beginners and getting bigger for more experienced players. We keep track of things like moves, time, difficulty, and progress in the game, and we store this information in a MySQL database using PHP endpoints. A JavaScript board state array that updates with each move and a results payload that sends session stats to PHP for storage are two important parts of the code. We also made a 5-stage story mode called Santa's Workshop. In this mode, each puzzle we solve opens up the next chapter, and our progress stays the same between sessions. All right. Core gameplay logic. So how the game works: the board is stored as a 2D array that tracks tile positions and the empty space. The key code includes an adjacency check using a Manhattan distance to validate moves and a swap operation that updates both the array and the DOM. We generate randomized boards but ensure they are always solvable using an inversion count solvability check that works for odd and even grid sizes. After each valid move, JavaScript increments the move counter, updates the timer display, re-renders tile positions, and runs a win check that verifies tiles are sequential order with the empty space in the bottom right corner. All right, on to the next. So the adaptive difficulty system, dynamic challenge adjustment. So this is one of the key features of our project. We made 3 challenging modes: beginner, normal, and expert. Each mode has 5 levels that get harder as we go. One important part of the implementation is a stage configuration object that sets the grid size, shuffle depth, and power-up limits for each stage. The game gets harder as the grids get bigger, the shuffles get deeper, and the assists get fewer. A simple score based on time and move efficiency is used to rate performance, and then the player is put into the next mode based on thresholds. When new users log in, they automatically go into beginner mode. The challenge state reset logic clears progress for new logins to keep mode placement the same. All right, and then the story mode integration. The game uses a 5-stage story set in Santa's workshop. Oh, sorry. Where each completed puzzle unlocks the next chapter, the story chapter. We store stage progress and the last completed results using local storage keys. Then load that data on the results page to show
Hello?
the solved image stats and story text. Hello, Vincent. We're currently doing the presentation.
Guys
Thank you for
hear
joining
me?
in. The key code includes a stage, index, increment on win, a stage lookup table for story text,
Uh,
and the results object saved and retrieved across
why
pages.
can't I hear anything?
Uh, you good?
We could just cut this part out.
Yeah. Anyways, a stage replay is supported by letting the game load either the requested stage or the highest unlocked stage. All right. Let's see. Custom features. So, yep, these are the undergraduate level enhancements. We implemented four main custom features. The theme system uses a body class toggle and persists preference using PHP sessions, updated via a simple API call. Achievements are unlocked through server-side checks using prepared statements and stored in an achievements table with a unique constraint to prevent duplicates. Power-ups include a time freeze implemented by gating timer increments with a boolean flag and a Christmas miracle helper that can correct several misplaced tiles by mapping title IDs to their correct positions and applying control swaps. We also have a solve automatically feature in order to be able to solve the puzzle faster and progress through the story. Story mode is integrated as a required feature, unlocking narrative chapters after each completion. All right, for the backend architecture, could you please take over, Stephen?
All right, for the backend architecture, the backend is written in PHP and has API endpoints for logging in, registering, saving sessions, checking achievements, and analyzing data. The key code includes password hash for registration and password verify for login. It also includes session start and session variables to keep track of the user's ID and theme. We use PDO prepared statements to safely insert and select data, like adding a game session when it's over or getting stats for achievements. We keep track of game sessions by adding a record at the beginning and updating it at the end with moves, time spent, difficulty, and completion status. This makes sure that analytics are correct even if a player leaves in the game in the middle of the game. For our database design, we have tables for users, game sessions, puzzles, achievements, and analytics in our schema. Our SQL has create table statements that have primary keys, foreign keys, and indexes to make lookups faster. Users keep track of usernames and password hashes and make authentication faster with indexing. Every time you try to play a game, game session stores the time, moves, difficulty, and completion flags. Achievements are stored with timestamps, duplicates are stopped with a composite unique constraint. Analytics use aggregate queries like count, min, and conditional sums to figure out the total number of games, the best time and the best moves, and the hardest time tier completions. To stop SQL injection, all database queries use prepare statements with bound parameters. Password hash makes salted hashes and password verify safely checks login attempts. So passwords are never stored in plain text before putting data into the database. Server side validation checks the length of inputs and trims them. Output is escaped to lower the risk of XSS indexing. Indexing makes things run faster and stops queries from getting slower as the dataset gets bigger. The UI changes the size of tiles based on the size of grid, so the boards can still be used as they get bigger. Key codes uses the row and column index to figure out the tile width and offsets, and then moves the tiles around with translations to make the animation smooth. CSS background size and background positions are used by image tiles to cut one image into many tiles. CSS classes that change the colors of text and gradients are used to make the theme system work. Buttons clearly show what power states are available by using disable styling when they aren't.
All right, Vincent, could you please take over this testing area?
Yeah, I can. And sorry about the interruption earlier. Um, so for this slide, we're talking about testing and validation. It ensures correct behavior. We check to see if every puzzle could be solved by doing random generations over and over and checking the inversion rules. We tested the edge cases of move validation to make sure that only tiles next to each other can move and that quick clicks don't mess up the board state. We tested wind detection on all grid sizes that were supported. We checked the accuracy of the database by comparing the stored session stats with the actual gameplay results. And event triggers and SQL aggregation results were both used to test achievement logic. For our deployment strategy, we use a local server deployment. We use the XAMPP with the Apache, along with PHP and MySQL to develop the project locally. We put it in the HT docs and made tables using command line SQL. We use FileZilla to upload the files to COD and Putty to run SQL scripts in the server's MySQL environment, as required by the rule to avoid GUI database tools. Updating includes the database PHP or DB with the name and credentials of the server database, which was important, which was an important part of the development or deployment. Excuse me. We also use dir in PHP. It includes to fix path problems so that the API files can always load the DB connection file. Some of the challenges and solutions that we found while doing this project, one of the hardest things for us was getting the database to work in both local and COD environments. We had a port conflict on the 3306 in our area that we had to fix before MySQL would start. We couldn't make the database on COD because of permission issues, so we had to use the assigned database name instead. We also had problems with connection because the credentials didn't match. We fixed these using a separate test database PHP page, and we used show tables to check the tables. We also had a problem with mixing connection styles, so we made sure that all database access was done through the PDO prepared statements, the backend safe and consistent. We also had problems with API, which included paths, but we fixed them by using require once with dir to make sure that includes weren't missing. All right. So we have some code snippets. I think we all did our own code snippets. I actually have some of mine, but I'm gonna take the screen when it's my turn. But I'll let you guys discuss your code snippets.
All right, Stephen. I think you can start taking over.
Oh, sorry, I was muted. But for the first snippet we have is the first block, the render board. This block is critical because it initializes the puzzle board and ensures that the puzzle is solvable. Without this, the game could generate unsolvable problems, and which will make the user experience pretty bad. The second block on the right, this block dynamically renders the puzzle board as HTML elements, handles both the visual representation of the tiles and their interactivity. And then for the check win block, this block checks as if the puzzle is solved by checking if all the tiles are in the correct order. And then the block on the right, this handles the win condition, including unlocking achievements, saving results, and redirecting the user to the results page.
All right, I'll do the last two. So this authentication gate, this one for here, it checks whether a user session exists before allowing access to the game. If the logged in session variable is not set or false, the code stores an error message and redirects to the login page using PHP's header function, then exits immediately to prevent unauthorized access. Only authenticated users pass this checkpoint and see the game board with their personalized username greeting. And for this portion, the script retrieves the player's highest unlocked stage from browser local storage, defaulting to stage 1 for new players. It displays a loading placeholder initially because the actual difficulty depends on the challenge mode configuration. When the page finishes loading, it calls the start game function, which initializes the puzzle with the correct grid size, shuffle depth, and power up availability based on both the current stage and the player's performance-based challenge mode. All right.
All right.
So
And would it?
yeah,
I'm sorry. Would it mess up if I show my screen? Are you still able to
yeah,
record?
yeah. You can go ahead.
Okay. Okay. I just want to show
Uh-huh.
some of the snippets that I had.
Okay, go
I
ahead.
hope it's not gonna mess up anything.
That's okay.
Oh, it's not letting me. Um, oh man, I have to download the desktop app. Um, okay. Is it possible for me to send it to you and then I could just go over it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Um, there we go. Should be on.
All right. There you go.
All right. So, um, just going over it really quickly, and I just kind of wrote on top of the code just so that it would make it a little bit more readable. Just kind of breaking it down. Of course, at the very top, you have to start the PHP session. That little block right there, it's just for handling user input and data, like a login. Um, Underneath that, that's the start game link. It links to the other PHP page to start the game. If you scroll down just a little bit, some of those blocks. This is from the result PHP page. So this is one of the pages after you solve the image. So it pulls data to show time, moves, and difficulty selected. Underneath it is a controller for navigation after completion of a stage. Underneath that is the story content for the stage. You see it kind of parsed out. Um, Underneath all of that, which is just kind of content data, you have the query methods that grabs the content. Depending on the stage, you have the image that you receive on solve. You also have an image error handling. So like if the image isn't loading properly, or if you have like a error on the image, this is just to help with the handling of the image error. Underneath that is just the final parts of the result PHP. You have the access, or it accesses the game PHP script, just the transition between the stages, which is at the end of the result. And those are just the code snippets I got. The first top one was the index PHP, and then this bottom one is the result PHP.
All right. Now I think we should get started with our project presentation. So I'll quickly start from the introduction page. Oh, sorry. Huh. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. All right. So we'll just start from here instead. So this is the home page, and when we click on Start Game, it doesn't let us because we are currently logged out. So this is a name that I created originally, so we can start from this, or we'll just register instead. So we'll create a new user. Let's call him uh Saad, and we'll give the password 12345623456 and register. All right, they are now registered, and upon clicking login, see, we are back to the main page. It greets us and it will now allow us to proceed. We also have a few features: light mode, dark mode, and it has a nice theme too. And a slider button to increase or decrease the noise, but for the purpose of this presentation, we will keep the volume at a minimal. Okay, and now we can begin. All right, so this is the first piece of puzzle. It's a 3 by 3 grid. Actually, I'll just mute it. Okay, it's a 3 by 3 grid, and there's a few functions here. Reset will reset the puzzle. New game will start from the top. A Christmas miracle button. It partially helps you solve the whole puzzle, and the two hearts are the lives, so you only have two per puzzle. The freeze timer freezes the time and lets you think. The mini shuffle kind of shuffles things around. And then we have this feature, the solve automatically button. This is for purely for the presentation and to speed up the process. So I'll just quickly click on that. And yep, this is our first piece of the story. It's stage one. Welcome to Santa's workshop. Uh, it just it goes to this first page part of the story, and you unlock more of the story as you keep on playing. And this kind of shows you the scores as well. So let's take a look at the next stage. So yeah, this one is also easy. I'll quickly click on solve automatically. And yep, zero moves were used. It was done under 6 seconds. So, and this is the second part of the story. So we'll quickly go over to the next stage. And now you see the 3x3 grid changed into a 4x4 grid this time. It picks up on how fast you do the present or do the game. So if you take less time, it will progressively get harder. So I'll quickly solve automatically once again. And yep, the third part of the story. And now let's take a look at the next stage. This is also 4x4, and the difficulty is not only limited to the grid size, but also how they are arranged. So their arrangement is also one of the difficulties. So let's click on a Christmas Miracle this time. Yep, this partially solves the whole puzzle, and then clicking on it again, see, it solves a major part of the puzzle, but not fully. So let's solve automatically. 26 seconds. I mean, that's not that bad. So next stage, this one is still 4x4, but as you can see, kind of doesn't make sense right now. So yep, let's solve automatically once again. And there you go, the final piece of the puzzle and the story. So you will quickly start a new challenge. And this time we start off with a 4x4 grid instead of a 3x3 that we started off with initially. So let's quickly keep on doing it once again. Next stage, still a 4x4. Next stage, and now it's a 5x5. So yep, this part has gotten harder and the difficulty is hard. So solve. Next stage, this is also a 5x5. So let's solve it quickly once again. And this time it's not only arranged difficultly, but it's also a 6x6 rather than a 5x5. And this one is difficulty expert. So this one is the hardest puzzle. So let's solve it once again. All right, and the game is done. And now to view our achievements. So yep, these are all the achievements that you can get by playing this game over and over. And once you play 10 of these games back to back, you gain this. And this just shows your fastest stats. So your statistics are also visible again. So let's click on play again. And yep, it starts from the 4x4 and eventually builds on from there. And I believe, let's go back, log out. And yeah, that's our project. Thank you for joining in. And yeah.